Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rainboots.com, and if you have a Cricut or a laser, let's make a Highland cow door hanger. He's cute, he's easy, and if you'd like to make him, boop, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here. This is who we're making today. We're combining thin wood and some faux fur along with some stain or wax so that we can create him. I'm going to be using my xTool M1, so I'm going to create or import the SVG I made in Illustrator. This will be at the link down below. So you can see here there's a lot of layers because I wanted everybody to be able to work with it for vinyl, paper, stencils, and even wood. So you can see I'm just pulling apart so you can see all these layers. I'm going to unite the face so it moves all at once. I'm going to put all of these, here you go, except this one. We're going to cut that out of faux fur. So I'm going to put all of these and size them in relation. So grab them all and size the entire thing. I want my wood to cut out of a 12-inch by 12-inch piece of basswood plywood. So that's what I'm sizing everything to, a single cut of the horns. If you would like, you can cut these horns out separately, or if you have a bigger laser or Cricut, you can cut them out larger. I set only the horns to cut on the default setting for plywood because my M1 loves that setting. I'm going to indicate that it is an open plane because I'm using my honeycomb and riser, and then I'm going to measure the distance for the laser. I'm just making some final adjustments here, making sure I can get that as wide as I can. Everything except for the horns is set to ignore, meaning my laser will not cut it. So I'm going to turn on air assist and then my air purifier, frame it out, and then look and see. It estimates 3 minutes cut. So we'll see. It processed in 3 minutes and 6 seconds, so pretty accurate. This next set is going to be cut as well, framed and estimated at 3 minutes. Oh, girl, it cut that in 1 minute and I think 30 seconds. Let's see. Yeah, 1:37. And then finally, I'm using a different piece to cut out my base here for my entire project. So again, I'm setting it to cut and indicating output, same material, same settings. It estimated 4 minutes. And I have to tell you, I've been pretty impressed with the estimations on cuts because look, 3 minutes, 40 seconds for that. This is something that you'll just do depending on what you like, but I like to take blue tape to get out the majority of the char on my edges and then use a lint-free microfiber cloth to wipe them down. Some people recommend a baby wipe, but I find that the basswood will absorb that moisture, so I choose to do it like this. Once I make sure that every piece doesn't have any more char, because I am notorious for getting it everywhere, I'm just going to put this all together and make sure I like the sizing of everything. You can make this door hanger much bigger. It's an SVG file, which means you can scale it up or down. But again, this is my size for my interior door. All right, so I'm going to be using this faux fur from Amazon to create the upper piece. Here's how we do that. Easy way, you just put it and trace it like this. Hard way, you can create the SVG and cut it out of paper and then do it like that. But I just estimated it and it worked out just fine. So when you're estimating, do remember that the pile of the fur will hang down. So you have to go up a little bit from the snout. And then to cut it, I just used an X-Acto knife on the back edge of that fabric, barely scoring it. You can see how easy it comes apart. That's it. You can use scissors, but you have to be a whole lot more careful and go slower. I'm not really about doing things slow, so an X-Acto knife it is for me. So I'm just going to cut that out the rest of the way. Again, you can go into a point here at the bottom. You can round it off, whatever makes your heart happy. Bloop. Now we have a piece of fur. Now this one came as a sample from Amazon, which means they cut it with scissors. So pull off all that excess and then we're going to glue down the very top edge. This matters because number one, our fur will stay intact. Number two, it just looks better, to be honest. It just looks better when we attach it. So if you sell And this is a commercial license associated with the SVG I created for this cutie. So if you sell, I would definitely do the tamping down of the top edge of the fur. I'm using a wax to color my horns and muzzle. I do keep the edges non-waxed and non-painted and non-stained because I personally like that darker look. For the dark stain or wax, girl, get gloves. You're going to destroy your manicure if you don't. And if you're a guy, listen, if you like your hands to be stained, don't wear gloves, you know. You can also spray paint all of this. You can use paint pens or markers or anything you got. But I'm using a wax. The white is a Waverly wax, and this one is Hobby Shop or something. I don't know. I got it on a vacation in Walmart. Okay, so I really like this single layer. I love this stuff. I'm going to apply it, and then I'm going to just use the sort of clean portion to remove any excess from all of these pieces. You can do multiple coats of paint or stain. I really like how that grain came out. Oh, that's what I'm Hobby something. I don't know what that is, but I know it's from Walmart because I know I got it on vacation in Sequim, Washington. I did 2 coats of the white and 1 coat of the brown, and then I'm going to pin this onto a piece of cardboard just using sewing pins because I'm lazy and I want to spray paint every single thing at once. So I'm just holding all these pieces in with the pins, and I'm going to take this Krylon clear outside. I do the front, I do from the top and from each side. I let it dry, I do it again, and then I do the back. So that's how I like to seal my items because I'm lazy, but you can use a wipe-on as well. So once we have all that, it's time to assemble, and you can see I'll be using super glue, I'll be using wood glue, and I'll be using a small staple gun. Well, the staple gun's big, the staples are small, and the reason is because this is not very thick. I find the center of my horns and find the center of the headpiece. If you want, and you do a lot of these, just make little score marks on the machine so you can easily line them up. Just work smarter, not harder, but I did mine manually. Okay, so first I'm going to add the wood glue just in this portion here in the center, just down from the top. And then once I have the wood glue on, you can see I'm staying about 1/4 inch away from the edges. I'm going to add super glue in between those spots. I hate waiting, so I'm going to wait only until the super glue sets. The reason I like this combination is because I still have time to move everything around. The super glue does not set immediately, and the wood glue definitely doesn't. So I still have the ability to pick it up, move it around, make sure it's centered, make sure it's like that even before I move on. All right, once I will tell you, just make sure it doesn't move by just pressing on it a little bit. And then we're going to put on the muzzle. So I want to put the hair on just to make sure I have the right placement for my muzzle in a second. So I'm going to do this the same way, but I'm going to use a paintbrush because it's frustrating. It's really small. And so I'm just going to make 3 little dots of super glue, like really light little dots, and then I kind of spread the dot out, and then I'm going to put wood glue on the Post-it and then paint that wood glue into the separate spots between the super glue. Now I know if you've been working with laser and wood crafts, you probably know this already, but these are the lessons I have learned in just the few months that I've been working with the laser. Work smarter, not harder. There is also, I can line my wood with tape, and for these little small pieces, if you make a whole lot of them, I would actually do the adhesive lining. But if you get any glue anywhere else or just want to make sure there's not any glue, use a dry paintbrush just to make sure. So I'm just going to repeat the same exact process with the little nostrils as I did for the smirk. And now I'm going to place it. Again, you have some time to move it if one nostril is higher than the other. Just saying. I've done that. Okay, so, another thing is you can actually just engrave that. Increase the power, engrave it darker, add a tiny little bit of wax, and it'll come out just fine. But if you want the 3D look, we're going to do this. So same thing with the wood glue and super glue. I'm going to place this, make sure it's centered, make sure it's even. I mean, it'd be super cute if it wasn't even, but for my hanger, I'm going to place that on now before I do the hair because I want that to be as covered as I can get it. So I'm going to flip this over, protect my work surface because, yeah, I've stapled my desks before. After I create a knot, I'm just going to staple these right in through the backing. So it goes from the body into the horns, but it doesn't come out. See? All right, so now that that's on, we're going to apply the hair, and I'm just going to pull these to either side of the little divot. It looks like there's more hair than there is, but I'm only going to use super glue on this one. I am going to make sure that I'm spreading it out really well because we don't want it to seep through the fur, but we do want it to spread onto the wood and hold the fur. So once I've held that for quite a little while, this guy's done. What do you think of him? I fell in love with it when I came up with the idea, so I love him, but I would love to hear what you think of him in the comments. And as always, I sincerely appreciate you being here and watching. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe for more crafty fun.